As a genre, horror can be really good and really bad. Because of their relatively low budget, especially when they're set in a single location, and potential for massive returns, we've seen more and more produced in recent years. Most are meant to be enjoyed by high school students on a Saturday night as they keep one eye on their Instagram feed, which is what it is. But on occasion, the world of fear is used to make us do more than squint as the obvious jump scare approaches. Released in 2001 and directed by Alejandro Amenabar, The Others is one of the great examples of what horror can be when it's created with deeper intentions. Produced on a budget of $17 million, The Others was a global hit, garnering a worldwide return of over $200 million. The film is anchored by a sensational Nicole Kidman and provides enough mystery and haunted house fun to be immune from accusations of pretension. But there's more to The Others than just a well-constructed twist ending, which is nearly identical to that of The Sixth Sense, a movie that had only been released 2 years prior. Everything that leads up to Grace's tragic revelation is meant to question our beliefs about reality and how the intensity of those beliefs can prevent us from understanding our own behavior and environment.
Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin.
The first piece of dialogue delivered by Grace introduces the creation story from Genesis, the story that explains why humans must contend with mortality. The Stewart household, as we will soon find out, is totally disconnected from the outside world. They have no phones, no radios, and Grace ensures that the curtains are closed to prevent triggering the children's allergy to light. She believes her children only need two things: her love and the Bible. Her love will provide for their emotional needs, and the Bible their intellectual. She is 100% certain that all the answers she and her children will ever need can be found in the Word. Now, the children are not as certain as their mother, which is a point of contention in the family, especially when Victor makes himself known to Anne. Her defense of his existence is punished with public readings from the Old Testament. And on a side note, James Bentley, who plays Nicholas, and Alakina Mann, who plays Anne, are both fantastic, some of the best child acting you'll ever see. Now, the counterforce to Grace is Bertha Mills. Mrs. Mills does not dismiss Anne's ghost stories. In fact, she supports them with her own experiences. And when the children raise their skepticism about the Bible, she hears them out and doesn't offer any resistance. In many ways, Mrs. Mills is the voice of the director in the film. What we'll eventually learn, perhaps sooner than the story would like us to, is that all of the characters we meet are already dead. So why does Grace need the help of Mrs. Mills and company to discover this? What is the fog that's blinding her from the truth? What makes up the bars of her prison cell? The answer is twofold. As already mentioned, Grace believes she has all the answers to life and the afterlife, so any evidence that might contradict her presuppositions has to be thrown in a grave and buried. But what makes the fog even thicker is the truth of Grace's final days in the world of the living. There are hints of what happened. Anne's frequent reference to her mom going mad is the most glaring, but there are more subtle examples. Grace's look of discomfort when she snaps the barrel of the shotgun. This was probably the final noise she ever heard. And her constant migraines are clearly a lasting effect of her decision to turn the barrel on herself. So the afterlife Grace finds herself in is not harmonious. Her children live restricted lives in darkness, her husband returns but is emotionally cut off from her, she lives in pain and confusion. This is a prison. How she escapes this prison is the moral of the story, and the transformation happens basically in a single scene. This is the Oscar or Golden Globe moment for Nicole Kidman. After she recognizes the fact of her death, she admits the cause, to herself and the kids.
I killed my children.
She also confesses to Anne and Nicholas that she doesn't know where they are, or what realms actually exist. Grace accepts her past and the limitations of her knowledge about the future. After this scene, the kids are able to step into the light, their sense of belonging returns, there is no more confusion or pain, the mood lightens, and our characters are at peace. The point being, we can also find a similar peace by accepting our past, no matter how painful, and rejecting an absolutist view of life and what follows. There are many interesting discussions to be had about the film's message, and I think the easier one is probably in relation to the acceptance of painful realities. There's a great line in Mad Max Fury Road where our main character tells his friends who are searching for redemption in the wasteland that,
if you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
Grace's husband was killed in the war. Her servants died from disease. So she was left isolated in a giant empty home with only her children, and she snapped because she couldn't accept that sometimes horrible things happen that cannot be fixed. That's an unavoidable fact of life, and only at the end does she come to terms with this. I think we can all take something useful away from that aspect of Grace's arc. The more contentious part of the film's message is in regards to religion. The story makes an argument in favor of agnosticism and against dogmatism. There are many examples of Grace's faith preventing her from seeing the truth of her situation. The director was raised Catholic, Grace is Catholic, so Christianity is the main target, although the argument applies to all religions. The Book of Job would be one part of the Christian rebuttal, and it's been the inspiration for two of the best movies of the past 20 years, in my opinion. You could watch either for a continuation of this discussion. At the most basic level, Job is about accepting that human beings will never have all the answers. The designs of God are so far beyond our understanding that claiming to have all the answers is a sin. God promises justice in the end, but not complete understanding of all events in the meantime. Additionally, the message against religion is actually packaged in religious imagery and symbolism, which may have been intentional. Grace's children are allergic to light. The darkness they inhabit represents self-deception and ignorance. But of course, in the Gospels, Jesus refers to himself as the light of the world. And another line from John is, "The truth will set you free," which is essentially the message of Grace's journey. For this story, I think the idea is that Enlightenment ideals are the real light that will guide us to introspection and improvement, but it's difficult not to find many Christian assumptions underpinning key aspects of the message. That is my brief response to Get the Fire Started. What I love about movies like the others is that they lead to endless conversations, which is what art is all about. So if you've seen the others and have thoughts about the story, agreements, disagreements, feel free to leave them in the comments, and if you want to watch more videos like this in the future, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Have a fantastic rest of your day, guys. I will talk to you soon.